Talos makes management of new tickets so much easier. Let's take a look at how it works. So a new ticket has come in to your AutoTask support queue. From here, I get notified because I'm the first responder here. So I've been set up to receive these notifications. It comes straight into my activity feed. From here, I can see who it's from and the company and the details about the ticket. I can even click on the phone number that's presented through and just call straight from Teams. From here, I can allocate and assign this out to one of my technicians just by hitting the assign button, and that's the job done. Alternatively, I could schedule this and push this into their dispatch calendar if it's appropriate to do so. And we also have some additional buttons and capabilities here that allow a person who's doing dispatch quick and easy access to some core functions. Things like quick actions, where you predefine the next step, like a newsletter to automatically complete the ticket, or an account notification when it needs to be pushed over to the accounts department. So now that the ticket's been assigned to Jack, let's take a look at what he gets to see. Jack gets a notification straight into his activity feed because Talos mentions Jack, so he can just pay attention to his activity feed as well. From here he gets much the same information. The details of the ticket itself, he gets the call straight from the notification that's come through, but he also gets to add notes and do time entries straight from here as well. So Jack could click on the time entry button from here, and that would allow him to keep his times up to date right on the spot and make life a lot easier for him. So from here he can add in summary notes. He can choose to email that out to the customer if he wants, and that'll go through AutoTask as well. From here he can pick his work types, start and end time, and then the status. It's all quite easy to update from here. So Talos can make the customer reply process a lot easier as well. So in this case, Elmer's replied back to Jack on this ticket regarding Wi-Fi not working. The notification comes straight through to Jack into his activity feed, so he can get straight to the message itself. He gets all the information as well as what Elmer's actually said. Now we make a prediction on this as well. This is where our AI steps in. We make a prediction that we push through to Jack and suggest what we think it might mean. Now this isn't something that has to be used. There's not an automation behind all of these components, but it does offer this suggestion through. Things that do have automation behind it is if, for example, Elmer had replied back to say, "Thanks, that's all working now," then the prediction would be everything's done and the ticket can be closed, in which case Talos will close the ticket for you when you correct that. That's just one example of some of the automations and AI that we're pulling through. But from here, aside from the AI, we do have all the productivity set that's here. So again, Jack could call the customer straight from here, can do a time entry and add a note to this. In our instance, we can also even assign this out to somebody else if it's appropriate to do so. Now let's look at our team accountability. So Talos can provide some insights for management and for staff as well to keep their day moving forward. Firstly, we have this new ticket idle notification. So in this case here, this ticket that's come in for Wi-Fi not working for Jack, it's been pre-assigned to him. It has gone too long without any reply going out to the customer. So Jack gets a bit of a nudge from Talos to say you need to do something about this. But you'll notice that Lucas has also been notified. That's because Lucas is set as the manager. So Lucas is also getting that notification when his team is starting to fall behind and gives him the opportunity to act on it. From here though, Jack can still act on all these tickets that come through by adding a note, doing their time entry or reassigning it out to somebody else if it's appropriate to do so. Likewise, the SLA overdue, so that's the next step in this. So again, Jack's been notified that this SLA has gone overdue, needed to act on it. Lucas as the manager has also been notified. Gives people a proactive sense to be able to stay on top of it or to at least call out for help when they need it. It's very easy to create a new ticket from Talos as well. We have some set commands in place, new ticket being one. So in this case here, I'm going to create a new ticket for Able Manufacturing. I can use the command new ticket Able, and it will go into my AutoTask and find all the companies that have the word Able in it and return it back to me. If there's only one, it'll automatically select it. But because there's multiple with that spelling in it, I'm going to have to select. So I can pull this down. I'm going to choose Able Manufacturing HQ and hit Submit. We now have the new ticket form that comes through. We have the standard sort of fields that you can fill out here. You can do the title, the description, the work type selection can come through, and these all pull through from your AutoTask through the API. Select the contact that's got to be assigned to this, the priority, and the due date. You can also use the Assign Me button to assign it straight to yourself, and this is typically used for somebody who takes a phone call from a customer and they know they're going to fix it with them on the spot, on the phone, and this skips the whole dispatch queue. And it's also really useful for those who are on site. Somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, while you're here, can you have a look at XYZ? It's much easier to spin up a new ticket through the Teams mobile app than it is to use the AutoTask mobile app. This makes it so much easier in a single window and a single command. From here, I can create the ticket. With that ticket now created, I see the ticket number it's used, and I can also select the issue and sub-issue type that it relates to. From here, I can set the issue type. That helps with any workflows you might have set up in your system to trigger based on a certain issue or sub-issue type. Next, I can add a time entry to any of my tickets that are in my name as the primary resource and are not in the completed status, just by using the time entry command. Here I can select the ticket in my queue. I can do the summary notes for this, and I can even email that out to the customer if I like. I can do internal notes that might be appropriate. I can set the work type for this one. In this case it was remote. I can do the start and end time, and whilst I do have a drop down here, I can also just type in a specific time, and maybe it took me through till 9:40 AM, and that'll do the time for me. I can change the status and say that this one's all done and create that time entry. From here we can also add a note directly to a ticket using the add note command. Again, this will return back to me with a dialog that I'll have to select the ticket that is in my name that's not in the completed status. So I can do that from here. I can change the status from here, and I can reply to the customer with whatever work is being done on it. If I want to email that out to the customer, I can tick that on, and it'll use your notification templates that you've set up in AutoTask. So all the branding remains in your name, and it doesn't come from Talos or our system. As a technician, you can get your list of open tickets from here, just using the ticket list command. This will return a simple dialog that just shows the ticket number, the title, and the current status of that ticket. Each of these links, or each of those ticket numbers, are actually links that take you through to the ticket. As a way to help manage when people are away, we've introduced a command that doesn't really exist in any PSA right now. Let's say, for example, Jack calls in sick today. In the past, I would have had to have gone into AutoTask and reassign all his tickets out to other people, or ask one of his colleagues to look after his queue, or maybe I'd have to look after his queue as the manager, which can be quite distracting. Instead, what I can do is specify that he's away today, and that I want to redirect anything across that should have gone to Jack into his activity thread to mine, or maybe it should go through to Lucas, for example. I can specify the date from here, so tomorrow at 9 AM, let's say 8 AM. From this point forward, any messages that should come through to Jack from Talos, whether it be a customer reply, an internal note added, even the ticket idle or SLA overdue, they will go through to Lucas instead. Nothing changes in Autotask itself or your PSA. Instead, it's all managed through the messaging system here. That way, Lucas doesn't have to think about it. He can just read the notes that come through, act on them, add his times, add his notes, and continue his day without having to actively try and remember to monitor something else. Likewise, when Jack gets back the next day, then we can remove this manually if he gets back earlier, or we can update it and extend it out if need be. Makes it a lot easier to manage those sort of away scenarios. And we've found that with some of our customers, they've started using this for their lunch breaks as well. So this command can be run by anybody on your team. And they can set themselves away for an hour so that your customers don't have to wait at all if they reply while a person's on lunch, and really elevate your customer service.